the Women's March is holding its first national convention, and they've chosen Bernie Sanders as one of the speakers. They've gotten a lot of flack for it. I saw one prominent feminist writer call this a disgrace. I think a lot of people have missed that Maxine Waters is the headlining speaker. So it's been interpreted by some people that Sanders was the headlining speaker when actually it's Congresswoman Maxine Waters. And the organizers of the Women's March have said that they asked Hillary Clinton, Kamala Harris, and Elizabeth Warren, but that they weren't available. But your thoughts on this incident, because it's getting a lot of attention and people feel very strongly about it on both sides.
And they, people have a right to feel the way they want to feel, but the facts are the facts. And I'm certainly glad that Congresswoman Maxine Waters is the headliner. One of the things that Tamika Mallory, one of the co-chairs of this, brought up is that she had been announced weeks ago and nobody really picked up on it. And I wonder why. Is it because she's a Black woman? Probably so. But then in comes, the Women's March wanted to invite Senator Sanders. They did invite Senator Sanders, as they invited other folks. And he answered the invite and said that he would be there. I think that energy could be better spent in fighting for folks in this country, fighting for the $15 an hour minimum wage, fighting for Medicare for all, fighting to help our sisters and brothers in Flint get clean water, fighting for our sisters and brothers in the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico. But to launch this ridiculous attack against the organizers of the Women's March and telling them who they should pick and who they shouldn't pick is insane, in my opinion. Furthermore, it is not a reflection of what true feminism is, because feminism is not anti-man. Feminism is about humanity and lifting the voices of humanity and knowing that we need collaborations across genders, across religion, no religion. We just need that, Aaron. So I'm just shocked that they would do that. And most of the women planning this are women of color. So basically what some of these folks are doing is questioning the integrity and also the decision-making of other women at their event. It makes no sense to me.
How do you think it came to be that?
And I'm invited too, Aaron, I must say, and the hate is out there on that too. But so it doesn't matter. I sent out a tweet lifting up my sister, and I just said if she had invited Jesus Christ, somebody would have had a problem with that. Had they invited, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, had they invited Reverend, right now in our own time, Reverend Dr. William Barber from North Carolina, who led the Moral Monday movement, they would have a problem with that. So some people you're just not going to please. But the deepness of that, and even having the head of Emily's List, say to the Women's March, if you need help finding somebody, we can help you find somebody. I mean, the level of arrogance to say that to these women who made a decision to invite somebody who personifies progress in this nation. There are only two men that have been, invited. The overwhelming majority are women, and that includes, people like me. So it just bothers me that the level of hate, and people, they want to talk about Republicans and that hate, but the level of hate coming from so-called feminist, neoliberal women, it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
Yeah, and this speaks to a dynamic, in my opinion, that I was puzzled by during the primary, which is that Senator Sanders, sure, he's not perfect. He has his blind spots.
Nobody is, Aaron.
But how is it that he came to be portrayed as this out-of-touch old white man, which maybe he is in some respects, but meanwhile, on the Hillary Clinton side, she was portrayed by some of her supporters as this, woke, progressive, sort of seen in a very different way than Bernie was on this front, I think.
Yeah, some people never let the truth get in the way of a good story. And, Senator, first of all, right now, he was chosen by his peers within the Democratic caucus to be the spokesperson for that caucus. So riddle me that, and so while people want to keep haggling over whether he's an official Democrat, not a Democrat, the issues that he's been standing up for and fighting for almost 50 years is a value proposition. To believe that poor people in this country deserve to have a good living, to believe that everybody in this country morally should have access to Medicare for all, which, by the way, we have Congressman John Conyers in the House, as you know, Aaron. He's been fighting for the same thing since 2003. And so they're picking the wrong battles here. It just doesn't make sense to me. But when people get a narrative out there, it tends to stick. And this whole, Democrat or bust, or that anybody who believes that an individual or an organization is above critique. And I mean, just critique. And you don't have to tear people down to critique them. But I just, Aaron, I just don't even know what to say. And then all of the anxiety that this is probably causing the organizers of the Women's March. It makes no sense.